there's something I really wanted to address, and that is the fact that I've actually seen a fair number of people say, why do we even need ultimate raids? Why do we need ultimate in this game? Ultimates are content that a tiny fraction of players will even try, and even fewer people will even actually manage to clear the content successfully. So with that in mind, what is the point of making something that so few people will even have a chance to personally enjoy in the game? Like, you can see where some people are coming from with that. Like, would 14 be better without ultimates? But obviously, you know what I think about that, and that is absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I think people don't fully understand why ultimates are good, besides just giving like super hardcore players something to do, right? And so today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the concept of a Halo product, a Halo car, for example, like from giving you an example from the car world. So you might be familiar with a little company called Toyota. Well, Toyota is a company that's given us the Corolla, the Camry, the RAV4, probably the most boring and common, the most uninspired cars on the whole planet. But once upon a time, actually back in year 2000, the CEO of Toyota, Akio Toyota, he was sitting in a bar with an automotive engineer named Haruhiko Tanahashi. And he asked Tanahashi what he would want to see in a car. What would his dream car be? And Tanahashi said that what he wanted was a true sports car. He's talked about the concept of Jinba Itai, which means it's like horse and rider, like the union of the horse and the rider, which is now a Mazda slogan, by the way. And Toyota really liked this idea, and after about a year of planning together, they came up with the concept of the Lexus LFA. Now, Lexus is Toyota's luxury brand. And so they, from the ground up, designed the LFA as the Halo car for Toyota, meaning something that would represent the brand and become an icon, like something that would be truly remarkable, something that would never be forgotten, something that would leave a mark on the industry and like be revolutionary. So after 10 years of development and a full redesign, it took like $1 billion for them to make this car. In the end, Toyota sold like 500 of them, and over a period of 10 years, and each car sold for like $375,000. Toyota lost a lot of money on this project, and it was very high development costs. Okay, the selling price of the unit of each unit didn't even cover the manufacturing cost because it was such a ridiculous project. So, I mean, from a monetary standpoint, you would say, well, what was the point of doing that? Wasn't that a failure? They lost money on something they poured time into and money into for 10 years. That's not good, right? But actually, no, not really, because the car actually did live up to the concept of Jinba Itai. Like, it was the pinnacle of Toyota engineering and innovation. And it actually did become an icon. This is a legendary car. And it is beloved by car enthusiasts. It's just something that people who are passionate about cars will never forget. And so Tanahashi managed to create something that was remarkable, something that will always, always be talked about by, you know, the nerds and the geeks that are part of that fandom. You know, they actually made the Halo car. They actually did it at the peak of Toyota's engineering. So I'm saying all that to say that the Halo product is something that challenges developers to pour their all into something that is super cool, that will be loved and adored and cherished by the people who care about it the most. And yeah, maybe there are people who are not enthusiasts, who might not understand why the LFA is such a great car, or why Ultimate is so hard, or what those mechanics are even about, or what they even mean. But people like me, or people that are progging Ultimate, progging the world race, who are out here like blazing with excitement for this incredible marvel of design, of rating design, that is what really ends up capturing the hearts and minds of people. And that's what draws everyday people in to the thing that we're all excited about, that draws people into the brand or the product or whatever it might be. So you have to take care of those people that are the most devoted to your craft, and in the process to refine that craft. Like, it's just to drive innovation. Yeah, it's the Mount Everest of content. It's like to push the limits of what's normally practical or achievable that you normally think about in day-to-day content and providing to the day-to-day people. Just go way beyond that and create something that's truly unique and cool and hard in the case of an Ultimate Raid. So while also at the same time, you're showing off what the devs, what the manufacturers are actually capable of doing. You're showing off their talent to the fullest degree and all of their creativity. It's the ultimate advertising for a game or a product. I mean, yesterday on Twitch, Final Fantasy XIV had 100,000 peak viewership, which is like crazy numbers outside of a live letter. And that's because of all of the hype built up by the people actually progging this, the people actually covering it, because it's incredible to people that are passionate about this that they were able to go all out, right? And the players have to go all out. Everybody does. So I feel like this talk about Ultimates being a time sink for developers and it was a waste of time because only a tiny percentage of the player base does it. It's actually kind of reminded me also about how some people say, oh, well, it's a waste of time to spend money on space exploration because Earth has plenty of problems that need fixing right now. And without all of this space talk and all the money that people are wasting on NASA, like all that should go to the problems here and not some distant dream that's far off. But like another thing that people forget is that in the process of this kind of stuff being created, there's the trickle-down effect of all kinds of other like ideas that are born from that process. Like, are you using a wireless headset right now? Are you using a computer mouse? Are you using a camera phone? Athletic shoes, workout gear, I think power tools, Invisalign. Like, you could literally go on for days and days and days talking about stuff that we use every day that came out of the space race, that came out of the innovations that were necessary to go where no man has gone before, like to go far and beyond and to innovate. So I feel like the time developers spend creating these new kinds of mechanics and being creative about content in extreme settings gives us stuff that we have never seen before, and it will benefit the game as a whole because they'll remember, oh, well, remember that limit cut thing like we've started to see. Sometimes you'll see like ultimate mechanics pop up in other places, and so like I said, I think it does have trickle down benefits for the rest of the game. New mechanics, there's harder mechanics, new puzzles, like things that push the players, and it just, I think overall it does provide players with more content by stimulating the creativity of the developers, and it gives us, of course, the ability to showcase the game in a way that doesn't make it seem like just every other MMO. Like, it doesn't make it just blend in with all the others and a myriad of other MMOs that exist, but it's like, wow, but look at what's going on in there right now. Isn't that just so crazy and so difficult? Like, it captivates your mind to see something like Ultimate World Race go on, to see like people being, not only the devs being challenged to create it, but the players being challenged to go through it in a way that you'll never see in another game. This is unique to Final Fantasy XIV. I think Ultimate is it's the Lexus LFA of Final Fantasy XIV. It's the space exploration of Final Fantasy XIV. So I think that it's something that it generates excitement for the brand and reinvigorates people's love and interest and passion for the brand. And it makes content creators and people who are super devoted, gives them something to really, really sink their teeth into. I think it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I could go on and on about other Halo products, but yeah, I mean, Ultimate is a Halo. It's a Halo car. It's a Halo product of Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, thinking back to, having something that seems like so pie in the sky and so cool and so exclusive. It's just, it makes you want to strive for it. It makes you want to just at least go down that path. I remember playing Vanilla WoW and being captivated by the idea of legendary weapons back in the day, or even seeing epic weapons on somebody. Like if I inspected somebody and I saw epic gear on someone back long ago, I remember feeling super impressed by that and thinking, oh my gosh, I want to get into raiding too. And actually, I think that's why I got inspired to raid originally, was because I was like, wow, that's so rare and cool. And I could maybe do that. Like, some of those people actually will do that. And that's what's so neat about it. I think my favorite thing about it is we're all rooting for each other to be the fight. And that's the beauty of Twitch as well. Like, we're all part of it, and we can all get in on it, even if we are not, like, personally bashing our heads against the wall for 16 hours a day. You can still be part of the race by just watching it and enjoying it and talking about it and speculating about mechanics and stuff. It's super exciting for the whole community. Ultimately, it's a sandbox game. You need to have content for every type of player. I don't think that they are in a situation right now where they have to choose one over the other, first of all. And the second thing that in light of that, adding on to what I just said, because I will say, whenever we had the COVID pandemic and they had to cut content, Ultimate is what got cut, by the way, and got pushed back because they had to decide, we are strapped for resources right now. We're dealing with the COVID pandemic, and now we have to decide between putting Ultimate right now or putting the stuff for most of the players right now. And guess what got cut? It was Ultimate that got pushed to patch 6.1. So when they do have to make that decision, they will make the one that is going to benefit the most people, like, directly. But I don't think that they're always going to be in that position, because usually I think they acknowledge the things that I've said. Like, they understand the role of Ultimate as this Halo content and the purpose that it serves for the game. And another thing that I want to say too is, how can I put this? Another example, I'll just do this really quickly. I'm not going to go on a huge tangent about the R8, but another example of a Halo car was the Audi R8. And this was a car that got a lot of people interested in the Audi brand before they released the R8. Audi used to be considered a second-rate, like, we have BMW at home type of brand back in the 90s. But then they released this incredible Halo car, the R8, which got everybody interested, everybody hyped about the Audi brand. But at the same time, they also had other cars for people that were more practical. Like, they had a coupe that they released at the exact same time. They released an SUV like a year later. And the point was, get people hyped, get people excited about the R8, get them into the showroom. And then once they're there, people will be like, oh, well, maybe I can get this. Maybe I can do this other thing. Maybe I can afford this other thing. Maybe I can do this or that instead. Like, maybe you see where I'm going with this already and relating it to how this Ultimate works for Final Fantasy XIV. And that the idea of the Halo product is not just to be successful on its own, but also to make the entire brand appealing, to get people in the door, to make people say, wow, that looked really cool. Maybe I'll try Final Fantasy XIV. And maybe I won't do Ultimate, but maybe I'll try an extreme trial, or maybe I'll do Savage, or maybe I'll level, or whatever it is. You know, maybe I want to get in on this in my own way. Look how cool that thing is in Final Fantasy XIV. Maybe I will consider playing Final Fantasy XIV myself now, because look, they are popping off right now. Obviously, I'm impressed, and I want to get in on it in my own way. So I think that's another function of the Halo product for a brand, and that's what Ultimate serves for the community. And so that's why I think it's really important. I think it drives innovation. I think it gets people in the door. And I think it feeds your most loyal fans. It's like, it's this beautiful, like, a marvel of design that the most hyped and enthusiastic people in your community can be excited about, and then spread that excitement with other people. So it's all good. Like, I don't see any reason why. I really don't see any valid argument for why there shouldn't be Ultimate. The only one would be maybe this situation with COVID where they suddenly had way less resources and they had to make do. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about, like, normal operations and how you normally want to run your company.